I am in control of my life every day. From the moment you open your eyes, a quiet battle begins. It's not against the world, it's against the urge to give away your power, the temptation to say, "It's not my fault. It's just the way things are," or "someone else is holding me back." But here's the truth, the most freeing, and sometimes the most uncomfortable reality is that your life is yours. Your choices, your reactions, your habits, your energy. You are the one steering the ship. The weather might storm, the winds might shift, but the wheel is still in your hands. There's a myth that keeps people small, the myth that circumstances decide destiny, that where you're born, what resources you have, or how others treat you determines the outcome. But look closer at any success story, really examine the roots, and you'll find a decision, a moment when someone said, "Enough, I choose something different." Consider Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor. Stripped of his freedom, his home, his family, surrounded by suffering, and yet he wrote, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances." If a man in a concentration camp could claim that kind of power, what excuse do the rest of us have? Control isn't about manipulating every outcome. It's about recognizing where your power actually lies and using it. You can't stop someone from treating you unfairly, but you control how you respond. You can't rewrite the past, but you control what you learn from it. You can't guarantee success, but you control the effort you bring to the table today. People say, "I'm stuck." Most of the time, they aren't stuck. They're just afraid of change, or they've forgotten their options. A job you hate, you can look for another. A body that's out of shape, you can move it, fuel it, care for it. A toxic relationship, you can choose boundaries or walk away. Control doesn't mean it's easy, it means it's possible. We live in a culture that often promotes blame. Blame the boss, the government, the economy, the system, your parents, your partner. And while yes, systems are real, challenges are real. Blame will never be a solution. Blame freezes action. Responsibility fuels change. When you start each morning telling yourself, "I am in control of my life," you are refusing to live in default mode. You are refusing to hand the pen of your story to someone else. There's an old saying, "If you don't like where you are, move, you're not a tree." And you're not, you are mobile, you are evolving. And every day, you are voting for the kind of life you want through your habits, your discipline, your self-talk. Those votes add up. Now, let's bring this into the real world. Imagine two people in the same city, both laid off from the same company. One wakes up angry, scrolling social media, complaining to friends, drinking too much to cope. The other sets their alarm early, they update their resume, they reach out to old colleagues, they take online courses. Within months, one is still spiraling. The other has a new job, more confidence, a sharper skill set. What made the difference? Control, not over the layoff, but over the response. That same principle applies to every area of life. Finances. You can choose to spend less than you earn, learn to invest, create multiple income streams. No, it won't happen overnight, but it will happen with ownership. Health. You might not have perfect genetics, but you control your food, your sleep, your movement. The people who transform their bodies aren't lucky. They're consistent. They take control. Mindset. That voice in your head that says, "You can't. You're not enough. Why even try?" You don't have to believe it. You can challenge it. You can replace it. You can train your mind like a muscle. Even in your relationships, you have more control than you think. You can choose how you show up. You can speak your truth. You can set standards for how you want to be treated. That one decision, to stop waiting for others to change and start leading with intention, can transform everything. People often wait for motivation. But motivation is a result, not a prerequisite. It comes after you take responsibility, after you take one step and then another. Action is what creates belief. So when you tell yourself in the morning, "I am in control of my life," you are setting a powerful tone. You are reminding yourself that no matter how uncertain the day is, no matter what pressures exist around you, you are not a victim. You are a force. You are capable of choosing differently, acting boldly, and building a life with your fingerprints all over it. That belief alone can shift your entire direction. Every morning the sun rises like a silent promise, not loud, not dramatic, just steady and certain, whispering, "Here's another chance." It doesn't matter how perfect or how painful yesterday was. When you open your eyes, you're given something that millions of people didn't get today. Another shot. Another 24 hours to think differently, act intentionally, and live purposefully. It's easy to forget that. It's easy to wake up and carry yesterday's weight like it belongs to today. The argument, the mistake, the missed opportunity, the harsh words, they all try to follow you into the new day like shadows. But they don't belong here, not unless you invite them. Telling yourself, "Today is a fresh start," is more than a motivational slogan. It's a decision, a declaration that says, "I refuse to be ruled by what I cannot change, and I choose to be driven by what I still can." People talk about New Year's Day like it's the only chance for a reset. But that's one day out of 365. The truth is, every single morning holds the same power, if you're brave enough to see it that way. Think about this. Nature is designed around cycles. The earth spins, seasons change, trees shed their leaves and bloom again. Nothing stays stuck, and yet we often act like our past has chained us in place. It hasn't. You are not the mistakes you made. You are not the failure from last week. You are not the version of yourself that gave up or got it wrong. You are who you choose to be today. That's the beauty of a fresh start. There's a story about a teacher who walked into her classroom holding a glass of water. She didn't ask if the glass was half full or half empty. Instead, she asked, "How heavy is this glass?" The class guessed different weights. Then she smiled and said, "It doesn't matter how heavy it is. What matters is how long I hold it. If I hold it for a minute, no problem. If I hold it for an hour, my arm aches, a day, and I'll be in pain. The longer I hold on, the heavier it feels. That's how yesterday's regrets work. They get heavier the longer you carry them. A fresh start means choosing to put the glass down, not because it never existed, but because it no longer serves you. The mind loves patterns. It will replay yesterday's emotions, thoughts, and beliefs like a broken record if you let it. That's why reminding yourself, first thing in the morning, "Today is a fresh start," breaks the loop. It tells your brain, "This is new, this is different. I don't have to live on repeat." It's not denial. It's discipline. Discipline to release what you cannot redo. Discipline to stop punishing yourself for past versions of who you were. Discipline to plant something better today so you can harvest something better tomorrow. You've probably met people who seem stuck in a moment that happened 5, 10, even 20 years ago. They let that one moment become their identity. But you've also met people who have come out of addiction, heartbreak, bankruptcy, failure, and they walk with light in their eyes. The difference isn't what happened, it's how they decided to move forward. Growth doesn't happen without forgiveness, and the first person you often need to forgive is yourself. Tell yourself, "I get to begin again, not because I deserve it, but because life is generous enough to offer it." Athletes know this mindset well. A missed shot doesn't mean the next one will miss. A bad game doesn't end the season. They reset between plays, between rounds, between matches. They can't afford to carry failure forward. It clouds judgment and poisons focus. That same mindset belongs in your morning. Whether yesterday was a triumph or a disaster, it's over. Learn from it, respect it, but don't worship it. Your past is a place of reference, not residence. The most beautiful part of life is that change isn't only possible. It's always available. Every morning you're not just waking up, you're being handed a blank page. What you write is up to you. Nobody else holds the pen. And if you've been stuck in the same cycle, the same emotions, the same habits, start with one choice, one better action, one word of kindness, one decision to pause instead of react. That's how a new story begins. Not with a giant leap, but with one bold step. So when you look in the mirror in the morning, before the day sweeps you into its rhythm, speak those words with clarity and courage. "Today is a fresh start." Let that belief lead your actions. Let that truth anchor your attitude, because today isn't just another day. It's your next chance to become who you were always meant to be. Before the noise of the day begins, there is one sentence that can completely shift your energy, focus, and outlook. I am grateful for what I have. Gratitude is not about settling. It's not saying, this is all I need forever. It's not the enemy of ambition. In fact, it's the foundation for it. When you're grounded in gratitude, you stop chasing things just to feel whole, and start building things from a place of wholeness. There's a mental trap that many people fall into, and it sounds like this: when I get there, I'll be happy. When I get the promotion, when I move to a new city, when I find the right partner, when I lose the weight. But there always moves. The finish line keeps shifting, and you never feel like you've arrived. Gratitude anchors you in the now. It says, yes, I have goals, yes, I want more, but I won't ignore the gifts already around me. There's always something. Maybe it's your health. Maybe it's the roof over your head. Maybe it's the fact that you get to start the day with a body that still breathes, still moves, still fights for you even on your worst days. Some people don't wake up with that. A study published in the journal Emotion found that people who wrote down just 3 things they were grateful for each day felt more optimistic and better about their lives overall. They even exercised more and had fewer visits to the doctor. Gratitude doesn't just feel good, it's good for you. We live in a culture of comparison. You scroll through photos of curated lives, highlight reels with perfect lighting, and it's easy to forget the blessings in your own. But comparison is a thief. It blinds you to what's already in your hands. Gratitude clears the fog. It's not just for good days either. It matters most on the hard ones. When everything feels like it's falling apart, finding one thing to appreciate is an act of power. It's a declaration that says, this moment won't break me. There's still something worth holding on to. Think about people who have gone through the worst and still radiate strength. Holocaust survivors, cancer patients, war refugees. Many of them speak not just of what was lost, but what remained: love, hope, the sound of a bird outside a hospital window, a nurse's smile, the warmth of a stranger's hand. Gratitude doesn't require luxury. It requires attention. One man may own a mansion and feel empty. Another may share a one-bedroom apartment with his family and feel rich beyond measure. The difference isn't what they have, it's what they see. Start your day seeing what's good. Speak it. Say it out loud if you must. I'm grateful I woke up today. I'm grateful for this coffee. I'm grateful for people who care about me. I'm grateful I get another shot. It rewires the brain. Neuroscience has shown that gratitude actually changes the structure of your mind over time. It strengthens the neural pathways associated with joy, optimism, and resilience. You become someone who looks for the good, not out of naivety, but out of strength. It also builds empathy. When you appreciate what you have, you become more compassionate to others. You're less likely to judge, less likely to resent, more likely to help, because you understand on a deeper level that much of what we enjoy was never guaranteed. There's a story about a man who complained every day about his job, until one morning, as he waited for the bus, he saw a man with no legs being pushed in a wheelchair, smiling and waving at strangers. In that moment, the man's entire perspective changed. The job hadn't changed, but he had. All it took was a shift in focus. When you start your day with gratitude, problems don't disappear, but your mindset becomes bigger than your obstacles. You move from scarcity to sufficiency, from anxiety to calm, from frustration to appreciation. It's not a magic trick. It's a daily habit, and the more you practice it, the more natural it becomes. Write it. Speak it, think it. I am grateful for what I have. Not because it's all you'll ever want, but because everything you want begins with appreciating what you've already been given. Progress isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it looks like trying again when you'd rather give up. Sometimes it's reading one page, making one call, showing up when no one's clapping. That's the truth about growth. It doesn't always feel heroic in the moment. But growth is always happening if you're choosing it. Telling yourself, I am getting better every day, is a way of owning your journey. It's a way of refusing to let one bad moment define a whole day, or one bad day define who you are becoming. Progress is not perfection, it's direction. We've been sold the lie that change should be dramatic, that success should look like before, and after pictures, headline achievements, sudden breakthroughs. But real change doesn't look like that. It looks like compounding effort. It looks like showing up on the days when nothing seems to be changing and doing the work anyway. Think of how nature works. A seed doesn't sprout the same day it's planted. You water the soil, you protect it, and most days it seems like nothing is happening. Then one day there's a sprout, then a stem, then something beautiful. Not because of one big day, but because of what happened every day before that. People give up not because they aren't capable, but because they don't see results fast enough. They think if they're not there yet, it's not working. But every step taken in silence builds momentum. And it's momentum that makes change inevitable. A man who does 10 push-ups a day may not notice much difference at first. But after a month, he's stronger. After 6 months, he's transformed, not because he did something extraordinary once, but because he did something ordinary consistently. That's the heart of the belief I am getting better every day. It's not about being the best yet, it's about being better than yesterday. If you read a single page today, you're better informed than you were yesterday. If you apologize for something you got wrong, you've grown in emotional maturity. If you resist one old habit today, you've strengthened your discipline. Progress is rarely a straight line. There are setbacks, you'll slip, you'll lose motivation. Some days will feel like steps backward. But if you keep showing up, you'll find yourself further along than you ever imagined. That's not luck, that's the compound effect in motion. The author Darren Hardy once wrote about how small, seemingly insignificant changes made daily either build you up or tear you down over time. Eat one unhealthy meal. No big deal. But eat that same meal every day for 2 years, and your energy, your health, your mood will suffer. The same principle applies to habits of thought, work ethic, communication, finances, everything. What you do today matters more than what you promise to do tomorrow. And the belief that you're getting better, that today's choices are shaping tomorrow's reality, gives purpose to effort. It turns the mundane into meaningful. Washing dishes, sending emails, saying no to a distraction. All of it becomes part of the transformation. You don't need permission to improve. You don't need anyone's applause. You just need the decision, I will keep going. Even pain becomes part of the process. Failure isn't a sign that you're broken. It's evidence that you're pushing, testing, learning. Every time you fall and rise again, you're building strength most people never tap into. There's a reason the Japanese philosophy of Kaizen, continuous improvement, is so powerful. It's rooted in the idea that greatness isn't built on leaps, but on daily steps. Every athlete, every artist, every entrepreneur who's achieved something meaningful did it brick by brick. Day by day, think about someone you admire. They didn't wake up excellent. They trained, they practiced, they stumbled and got back up. They refined their craft, and most importantly, they believed the process was worth it. You're not behind, you're not late, you're not broken, you are becoming, and that becoming isn't measured by how fast, it's measured by how true your steps are. Some days you'll move fast, other days slow. Some days just getting out of bed and doing one thing right might be your win, and that counts. That's part of getting better. When you remind yourself, I am getting better every day, you're choosing to trust the process. You're choosing patience over pressure. You're choosing to keep your eyes on the path, not just the destination. Growth is happening. You might not see it yet, but it's there. Keep going. Before you go chasing after anything in life, success, wealth, love, peace, you have to believe you're worthy of receiving it. That belief is not a luxury, it's a foundation. Because no matter how talented you are, how hard you work, or how high you climb, if deep down you don't feel you deserve the good things in life, you will find ways to sabotage them. You will shrink your dreams. You will settle for less. You will hesitate at the edge of opportunity. People think self. Worth is a result of achievement. They say, when I'm successful, I'll feel like I deserve it. But it doesn't work that way. You don't get worth from winning. You win because you already know you're worthy. Start your day with this truth: I am worthy of success and happiness, and not because you've done everything right, not because your past is spotless, but because you are human, you are alive, you have potential, you have a soul that breathes and a mind that dreams. That alone qualifies you. Too many people walk through life carrying shame, quiet, heavy shame. Maybe it came from a parent who told them they'd never be enough. Maybe it came from a mistake that haunts them. Maybe it came from years of rejection or disappointment that convinced them happiness was for other people, but not them. But shame is not truth. It's a story that needs rewriting. There's a woman I once heard speak who grew up in a household filled with addiction and instability. She was in and out of foster care. She dropped out of school, got into trouble, hit rock bottom more than once. But one day she looked in the mirror and said, "I want more, I deserve more." That belief didn't erase her pain, but it became her turning point. She got clean, went back to school, and today she mentors at-risk youth. Not because her life was perfect, but because she believed she was still worthy of building a better one. You can't wait for someone else to declare your worth, not a boss, not a partner, not a parent. The world doesn't hand out permission slips for happiness. You have to give it to yourself. Every single morning, the belief that you're worthy affects everything: the jobs you apply for, the relationships you tolerate, the way you speak to yourself when no one else is around. If you don't believe you're worth more, you won't ask for more. And if you don't ask, you don't receive. That's not arrogance, it's self-respect. When you believe in your worth, you stop chasing validation and start chasing purpose. You stop performing for approval and start living in alignment. You no longer need to prove something. You just need to be something. This belief creates boundaries. You begin to walk away from things that no longer serve you: toxic friendships, environments that drain you, habits that dull your light. Worthiness helps you say no to less because you know there's more. Some people are afraid to believe they're worthy because they think it makes them selfish. But people who know their worth are more generous, not less. They don't need to take from others to feel full. They're not threatened by someone else's success. They're too busy building their own. This is not just mind. Set talk, it's biology too. When you feel unworthy, your body reacts with stress, anxiety, tension. You're constantly in survival mode. But when you affirm your worth, you activate your parasympathetic nervous system. You calm your body. You give yourself space to create, love, and lead. Your mind follows your identity. If you start your day with "I'm just trying to get by," or "I don't know if I'll ever be good enough," your brain will look for evidence to prove it right. But if you start with "I am worthy of success and happiness," your mind begins scanning for opportunity, for open doors, for reasons to rise. It changes how you show up in rooms. It changes how you handle failure. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "Why not me?" You become your own advocate, your own ally, your own source of strength. Success isn't reserved for the flawless. Happiness isn't reserved for the lucky. They're reserved for the brave, the ones who wake up and believe they are worthy of receiving and creating something better. You are one of them. What you say to yourself each morning sets the tone for everything that follows. The world will always try to write your story for you. It will try to remind you of your flaws, distract you with noise, weigh you down with doubt. That's why you must begin your day with intention, with truth, with power. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to be perfect. But you do need to speak life into your own soul. Before anyone else gets a chance to shape your mood, your mindset, your direction, you shape it. Tell yourself, "I am in control of my life." You are not a passenger, you're the driver. Today is a fresh start. You are not defined by your past. You are defined by your next decision. I am grateful for what I have. Abundance begins when you recognize what's already in your hands. I am getting better every day. Progress is not a moment, it's a practice. I am worthy of success and happiness. You don't have to earn your worth, you have to believe it. These are not just words. They are anchors, they are fuel. They are a quiet revolution, one that begins inside you and then ripples out into every conversation, every goal, every relationship, every dream. So tomorrow morning, and every morning after, stand in front of the mirror, look yourself in the eye, and speak like someone who is ready to build a life on purpose. Because you are not waiting for your life to happen. You are creating it.